Well, it's once again time to talk about the crime, and before I show you the stories, SouthShore12 covered some stuff. Not a lot of stuff they missed, though. It's just ever so evident what's going on, especially here in the Mid-Island region. We're dealing with all the problems, here in Mineola. How would you feel if you're going out the front door and you got to see this? Guy just passed out drunk on the street. This kind of stuff I had to deal with in Westbury. Now I get to deal with it here. And then I saw him again today pushing shopping carts down by the train station. Town is overrun with vagrants and homeless. Businesses closing. That pizza place just closed. That one that on Main Street, it's closed. It's not going to reopen. Mechanical problems. They've been closed for a month already. It's not mechanical problems. Nothing lasts here. It's all about the South Shore. It's all about, and it's just doing better than ever down there. It's doing better than ever, as the chosen ones get to live it up in their enclaves, the white finance professionals, as they live it up, oblivious to all the problems the rest of us deal with. They sit in their little protected little bubble where they can not have to deal with most of it, but a lot of us do have to deal with it, and it's not fair. So let's talk about it. So first, we're going to start off with this story, which SouthShore12 barely covered. This is about a Locust Valley group home resident admits to setting mattress on fire. And this is they barely covered this, and this is kind of a big deal because it affected a group home, and I don't know if it was run by my agency or not. It very well may have been. So it just goes to show you the failure of New York's mental health system. So we're going to play this story.
Admitted to setting a mattress on fire in this Locust Valley group home with people inside. Police say Lauren Gatch did it around 1 this morning at this home on First Street. Now, they say that 6 residents and 2 staff members weren't hurt. Police say the residents were taken to another facility.
So that's all it gets. They don't interview anyone. They don't care, right? This is a story that they should have covered. Why is somebody that dangerous in a group home when they should be in an institution? That is the question that we have. That is the question we have. But this is just another failure of the mental health agency and this the mental health system in this country. It's just a classic example of it. Next one here. They also barely covered this. The 17-year-old gun accused of firing a gun in Hempstead and injures an officer during an arrest. This is Stewart Avenue. I don't know where Stewart Avenue is in Hempstead. So we're going to play this.
Arrest made in Hempstead. Officers tell us that this happened yesterday morning just before 11 a.m. Detectives say they responded to a shot spotter notification on Stewart Avenue where they recovered 2 shell casings on the ground. Now, after investigating further, we're told a 17-year-old was accused of the shots fired and then was found near Clinton and Dartmouth streets. While attempting to place that teen under arrest, cops say he resisted and injured an officer. Police were finally able to secure the 17-year-old, who is now facing several charges, including an active warrant of criminal mischief from November.
So they don't even have a graphic, really. It's a shooting. My God, you should be covering this. Nope. It's a shooting. Let's see if we can find it here. Stewart Avenue in Hempstead. I didn't know it was weird that there's a Stewart Avenue in Hempstead, but let's see if we can find it. Yeah, it must be this area here. Yeah, this area right here. Right by where the 15 and the 35 go by. It's very scary over in that area. And I'm not at all surprised that happened. Not at all surprised. So let's go to the next one here. This is the other one that they barely covered. And then we'll get to the stuff they actually did wind up covering. But again, another shooting in Newcastle. Barely covered it. 23 seconds. How do you not cover shootings?
Breaks out in Newcastle. Police tell us officers responded to Oliver and Elton Streets overnight, where they found a 21-year-old shot in the leg. He was rushed to the hospital and is expected to be okay. As of this afternoon, cops have not found the shooter. If you have any information that can help, call Nassau Crime Stoppers at 1-800-2...
I guess they don't care because it didn't happen on the South Shore, so they don't care, right? That's what it is, right? Let's see if we can find this one. Elton and Newcastle. All right, this is again, these are all pretty bad areas here. Not at all surprised that it would happen here, but this is the kind of violence that you get to deal with in the middle of the island here. Elton Street actually says Westbury on it, but yeah, it's got to be this area right here. So again, this area right off Old Country Road, it's pretty run down. It's pretty run down. Take a look here, you see. This is October 22nd here. Yeah, look at all the overgrown grass and stuff. It's not a very nice area. I mean, we're not too far from where the diner was, the diner that burned down, that they never rebuilt it. There was a diner here at one time. Go down a little bit of a ways here. Used to be a diner here. They never rebuilt it. It's just now it's a real estate auction. Nobody wants it because it's such a bad neighborhood. Nobody wants to live, rebuild. But there was a diner here. It was called the Harvest. So Harvest Diner, unfortunately, burned down, and it's what it was. What used to be here, and now it's just an abandoned lot. Nobody wants to do anything here. This area is so bad. Nobody look at the potholes in the road. Look at the shape of the road. I mean, did they ever repave that road? No. Looks like they never repaved it. No. Never repaved it. No, it's not important. It's like I said, this is the kind of neglect you have in the middle of the island. All right. So, all right, now that we got that story, this is another one they barely covered. Thief assaulted Macy's worker while trying to steal sunglasses right behind the
assaulted by a man trying
to
steal sunglasses. A theft prevention officer recognized William Peck when he walked into the store yesterday in Manhasset.
Barely covered it.
Police tell us the worker watched Peck put a pair of sunglasses in his pocket and tried to stop him. They say Peck hurt the worker's leg and smashed the sunglasses on the floor. He was arrested and charged with assault.
So North Shore, middle of the island, getting to deal with all the problems. All right, let's go to the story they did wind up covering. And this is kind of proves my point about, and this guy could be a migrant. He could be an illegal. All right, it's possible. I mean, they're letting so many out in the city, out on the streets, and spilling over the middle of the island and even the North Shore. So let's play this story. At least they covered this. I will give them credit because I don't know if anyone else covered that story. Let's see. Anyone else covered it? Doesn't look like any of the city stations covered it. No. That's why people are like, why do you watch News 12? Because the city stations, they're so focused on the city, man. They don't really cover much Long Island news. So let's play this one. This is a very, very frightening thing that happened in Greenvale.
Invasion on the North Shore. 2 men with guns broke into a Greenvale home and demanded money, and the entire ordeal has the community on edge. News 12's Carmen Grant is there right now. Carmen.
Yeah, Tama, it was very scary for this Long Island family. A suspect was apprehended for this terrifying home break-in. Meanwhile, a second one remains at large.
So one
the whole thing is it's terrifying, honestly. It's really terrifying.
Residents on Locust Street are still shaken up.
It's not something that we ever expected in a little quiet dead-end street.
Police say 2 masked men, one armed with a handgun, entered this home through a rear sliding door. Authorities say one of the suspects, identified as Anthony Vasquez, pointed a gun at a father and his adult son. Police say the son ran upstairs and got his shotgun.
Thank God they had a shotgun to defend themselves. See, New York State doesn't want us to defend ourselves. This could have turned out even worse if they didn't have that shotgun.
At that point, authorities say Vasquez was holding a gun to his mother's head, demanding money.
It's crazy. The whole thing is crazy. It's pretty terrifying.
Police say the son fired several shots at Vasquez, who managed to jump out of a window, landing on the garage.
And the fact that he had a shotgun and, shot back at them is crazy.
Police say Vasquez then went back into the home where police say he continued to threaten the family with a gun. More shots were fired. Vasquez and a second suspect then fled the home. A neighbor says the mother was visibly shaken afterwards.
She was wailing, screaming, and she came running out into the street, like right here. And I started walking towards her, and then the cops came up the block, and they had to, she was on her knees, inconsolable.
Police later apprehended Vasquez a few blocks away.
What impressed me is that the cop responded so quickly that they arrived about just minutes.
Vasquez was arraigned today on several charges.
You notice it's not a lily white neighborhood, and that's why the criminals are there. It doesn't matter if it's the North Shore, the South, or the middle of the island. If it's not a certain demographic, the criminals are going to go there because, it's unbelievable.
This was Saturday's home invasion. Meantime, neighbors remain on edge.
It's definitely shaking up all our neighbors here.
I think I know that street, too.
Because of the severity of this case, Vasquez is being held without bail. Meanwhile, as we said, a second suspect remains at large. Police are asking anyone with information on this case to give them a call. All calls will be kept confidential. Reporting from Greenvale, Carmen Grant, News 12, Long Island.
See, a lot of dangerous homeless people out there that should be behind bars. At least if they're in jail, they're not going to hurt anyone, and they're going to get 3 square meals a day and a roof over their head. And this is why we need to get these people off the streets. This is just another example of it. So I'm pretty sure I know where that is. Locust Street in Greenvale. Let's see. No, it's not that. All right, it's not that one. It's around here somewhere. Let's see. Thought I knew where it was. All right, it's this street right here. It's the end of this street. So again, it's actually North Shore, but this is more of a middle class area. This isn't a as wealthy as some of the other. But it happened at the end of this street right here. It looks pretty decent, but again, it's not part of the enclave. And the thing is, criminals just seem to be gravitating toward areas where it's dark and where here's a little neglect right here. So, that's 2012. That's an old view. So I don't know what's happened since then. But, this is the kind of stuff you get to deal with if you're not in the enclave. This is the kind of stuff you get to deal with. And I don't see anything else here that we're going to talk about here. This is the other story about the group home fire. And again, this should have been covered properly. But again, people with mental illness and disabilities, they don't matter to SouthShore12, and they're not going to talk about this. So it says, Long Island woman accused of setting fire at a group home. 6 residents and 2 staffers have been displaced from a group home on Long Island after a woman allegedly set fire. It was a 911 call for a house fire located at 67 First Street. A mattress was set on fire, and the Locust Valley Fire Department responded to extinguish the flames. Lauren Gotch, age 32, of Locust Valley, admitted to starting the fire and was arrested and charged with 5 counts of endangering the welfare of an incompetent or physically disabled person and 2 counts of reckless endangerment. The residents have been displaced and relocated to another facility. So, this is an example of, you have people that are out there that shouldn't be in those kind of situations. They should be in institutions. They should be in a setting where they are, more heavily guarded. But we don't have that. We don't believe in that. We don't have that at all. And then we go to Laura Uhl. There was another story that wasn't even covered on any of the media. And this one, 8 a.m., this was a few days ago, January 27th, police were called to the Airport Plaza parking lot in Farmingdale, or should I say East Farmingdale, reporting a male found inside a vehicle. This is on 261 location in Farmingdale, or the Airport Plaza, wherever that is. They said that the male died from a gunshot wound. ESU recovered shell casings. So was this a murder? Was this a suicide? Shouldn't South Shore 12 be talking about this? But no, they're not going to talk about that. They're not going to talk about it at all. No, they're not going to talk about it at all. Instead, they'd rather cover some other stuff that they really shouldn't spend so much time on. And, of course, if something happens in Massapequa, well, we're going to be all over it. Massapequa Park. Somebody was selling his stuff online. How dumb can you be? And this is how naive these people are on the South Shore. To sell an expensive Rolex through Facebook Marketplace and then have the deal in front of your house instead of in a secure location. But these people are so naive.
Gone horribly wrong, and the scary moments when the victim tried to stop a thief were all caught on camera. News 12's Cecilia Dowd has the story.
I never thought in a million years that this would happen.
Stephen Morrow jumped on the hood of this SUV.
They're so oblivious.
Trying to stop the man who'd just stolen his Rolex watch outside his Massapequa Park home on Friday. Morrow said he listed.
I don't feel sorry for this guy because you don't sell stuff over on Facebook Marketplace, and then exchange cash right in front of the house. You should do it. They have specific areas that are in front of police stations that you do it. So that kind of stuff doesn't happen.
For $8,000 on Facebook Marketplace, and they agreed on $7,300.
And he looked through all the paperwork. He checked out the certificate because what's a Rolex without the certificate of authenticity? And it wasn't until he asked me to get into the passenger seat that I immediately red flag.
The passenger door locked, so Morrow flew to the driver's side.
The engine was already running, so he had a leg up on me. But he hadn't had a chance to lock the door yet. So I pulled it, and that's when you see the video. That's when the video starts, is me sort of grabbing the door, opening it, and then he's shutting it and putting it in reverse.
While the thief was trying to get away, a police car happened to pull up.
He actually probably saved my life because when I was on the hood, the suspect could have just driven straight normally if the cop wasn't there, but he was, and he was blocking the road. So he decided to go onto my lawn.
While the police commissioner says this is the only such incident in Nassau County, it is not the only one in the area.
There is a similar scam that is going on in New York City with the same type of vehicle and physical description. We're working with New York City right now to try to run that down.
As for Morrow, he says he's resilient.
It's okay. It's just an expensive lesson. I'll live.
Cecilia Dowd, News 12, Long Island.
That is wild stuff. Now, Morrow had some scrapes, but is otherwise okay, unbelievably, and he was able to hold on to the certificate of authenticity. The suspect took off in a Honda SUV with Connecticut plates, if you have any information.
So, you can't be selling your stuff through Facebook, but they're so naive they think you can do that. You can't be doing that, all right? It's not a good idea. Really bad idea. Really bad idea. All right, but they'd rather cover that than cover the Locust Valley group home or the shooting in Hempstead or shooting in Newcastle. And then they barely covered this too. Somebody was killed in Farmingdale, hit and run, and they barely covered it.
Man in Farmingdale and kept going. They were called to Merritt's Road right near the library early yesterday morning. When they got there, they say a man was lying in the roadway with a head injury. We're told a short bed silver or gray pickup truck hit that man and sped off. The victim, whose name has not yet been released, was rushed to the hospital
covered it.
Where he later died.
How come you barely covered that? I mean, that should have been covered properly. Meanwhile, they do cover this. Violent crash into Farmingdale restaurant, but this really isn't Farmingdale. This is more like North Massapequa.
Slammed right into a Farmingdale restaurant. In new video of the scene, you can see a man walking in the car.
Because a woman was driving drunk.
A parked car in this lot.
So I know where that is. Farmingdale Shopping Center. This really is not Farmingdale. So we'll show you where this is. They like to say it's Farmingdale, but it's really, I guess it's considered South Farmingdale. But it's close enough to Massapequa, so we're going to cover it. It's the shopping center right here. This is the one right here, Boundary Plaza. And it's bad because what ended up happening was the woman was driving drunk, and she was so drunk she didn't stop. She just kept on going, hit a car, and went right into this Chinese food place. So that's what happened there. And, of course, they're covering that plenty because that's close enough to the enclaves. They're going to cover it. Not even a video. Assaulting an infant. They didn't even have a video with this? Not even a video. My gosh, how pathetic. Oh, and we got a new one. Appliances stolen from multiple homes in Woodbury. More crime. Barely covered it. 20 seconds. More. The North Shore is getting to be just as bad as the middle of the island. Appliances stolen from multiple homes in Woodbury. Multiple homes under construction in Woodbury. Robberies occurred last Friday at Northwood Court and Woodbury Road within a half. Tools were also stolen. Illegals could be behind this too. But this is where they go. They go where it's quiet. This is what goes on in the North Shore in the middle of the island because criminals are like roaches. They're going to go to the dark places where nobody can see them, all right? And if it's well lit and it's busy and it's happening like it is on many of the South Shore towns, then they're going to be discouraged from doing stuff because they might get noticed. But on the North Shore in the middle of the island, it's dark, it's empty. It's nobody around. It's not like the South Shore where there's plenty of traffic and people around. It's dead. It's dead once the sun goes down. It's dead. It's dead, deader than a doornail, and it's like that in the whole middle of the island. It's really like that. This is from Farmingdale, by the way. Route 109 around 8 o'clock, dead. So it's the middle of the island. Once the sun goes down, boom, everybody just goes home, goes away. Everything, all the nightlife's on the South Shore. And so the criminals come out, and this is the problem. But this is all by design. It's all by design. So the middle of the island, the North Shore, get to deal with all the problems while the white finance professionals, those are the people that are important in New York State, get the life. They get taken care of, and they get to be safe from most of it. Not all of it, because nobody's going to be safe from all of it. It will spill over from time to time. But they're going to get the attention. They're going to get the light shined on them. While the rest of us, we're just left in the dark. So, thank you for watching this video.